What's going on, folks? Appreciate y'all joining me for another episode of All Around, episode 19, and historic night for George Mason as they knock off number 16 Dayton, man, 71-67. It's the Patriots' first home win over a ranked opponent in program history, which is saying something because they did have a team back in 2006 that made it to the Final Four. It was a hard-fought game, intensified game. Everybody coming in obviously knows about the inside play to DaRon Holmes. For Dayton, who more than likely will be, A10 Player of the Year and be headed off to play 82 games very soon. But it came down to guard play, and the Patriots guard play, to me, thoroughly outplayed the guard play of Dayton, and that was the big reason why they pulled off the big upset, in the first year under Tony Scannell. But before I get any deeper into this game, I want to make sure y'all get over to my folks at Oohs and Ahs and visit Oohs and Ahs off U Street. They're to me, the best soul food spot in the DMV. It's multiple locations. One is at 1005 U Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. That's the original. And you have the dine-in option at 5933 Georgia Avenue, Washington, D.C. And coming very soon is a location at Alexandria where you can go, kiosk, and order your food to go. Nice new wrinkle and Foes and Ahs in the restaurant business that I'm pretty sure people will latch onto, and especially for those that like the nightlife, love to shop over there in Northern Virginia. Now you got a spot that you can hit, and then I not have to worry about fighting traffic to get over to DC, so to speak, especially on the late night. And back to the game. George Mason was led by Baraka, Okojie, 19 points, 4 rebounds. Keyshawn Hall, 17 points, 6 rebounds. Ronald Polite, third, who had some big shots down the stretch, 13 points, 3 rebounds. Dayton was led by DaRon Holmes, 26.7 rebounds and 3 assists, and Koby Brea's 9 points. The first half started off with Amari Kelly for George Mason. You know what I mean? Having a hell of a game. He started off strong. I think he scored a quick 7 points for George Mason, and a couple of those was over DaRon Holmes. He showed up to play. He was ready, and that set the tone for what came later. To me, in my eyes, for them to pull off this upset, he had to play big. He had to be strong in the middle. Otherwise, DaRon Holmes would have just had his way and would have won the game by himself. But with him keeping DaRon Holmes honest with his scoring and rebounding and rim protection, it made it threw a wrinkle in what Dayton was trying to do because it wasn't an easy win. He made DaRon Holmes have to stay at home. He couldn't just roam and try to help out on the other guards, whatnot. Because now you have a guy in Amari Kelly who's getting going, and he had to focus on him. So that really set the tone. Only thing that hurt Kelly was foul trouble, and that look, DaRon Holmes is a tough matchup, man. He's a tough matchup. There's a reason why he's going to the NBA. He's a monster, and I'm gonna get more into him, man, later on. But I love Amari Kelly. I felt like he provided a good spark for them, and even when DaRon Holmes had it going, scoring in double digits in the first half, he helped keep George Mason in the game, though they trailed at the half 33-27. In the second half, I believe Dayton scored the first couple baskets, and Tony Skinn called a quick timeout, which I thought was huge. He stopped the bleeding right there, helped them regroup. Next thing you know, they embark on a run where they literally are on a 19-0 run in the second half, and that blew the game wide open. And a big part of that was their freshman guard, Baraka, Okojie. This was his game. Now when they look down the line 10 years from now, and they look back at this memorable win, and they looked deep into the box score to see who really stood up, this would be known as the Baraka Okojie game, because he really took over in the second half, man, with his energy, with his scoring, decision making, diving on the floor for 50-50 balls, even though he's the furthest player away from the ball. He's hustling so hard to try to get the loose ball and try to win the game. He's the youngest player on the floor by far, but he's playing with the poise of a senior and with the biggest heart out of everybody on the court. It's contagious. So if you see the youngest player doing that, you're the problem if you don't elevate your game and your energy and your hustle. And that's what you saw George Mason do, man. He was magnificent down the stretch, man. He's going to be a problem for years to come for Tony's game, man. He finished with a team high 19 points, 5 or 6 from the field, 9 or 9 from the free throw. Hit some big clutch free throws down the stretch. And 4 rebounds in 29 minutes, man. Look, between him and Keyshawn Hall was another one. He didn't shoot well from the field. He shot 3 of 11, but he found a way to get to the line, hit a couple threes, finished with 17 points and 6 rebounds. Between Okojie and Keyshawn Hall, Dayton guards could not keep them brothers in front of them. Them brothers, especially down the stretch, found a way to get to the basket time and time again, and they pulled off the win, man. You know what I mean? And they got to the free throw line. Between those two, and when they got to the free throw line, they hit their free throws. Between those two, they were 18 and 19 from the field. From the free throw line. In a close game like this, any coach would tell you that's priceless. It's one thing to have the ability to break down the defense, especially a strong defensive team like Dayton, and get to the line. That's the first step. Second step, and most important step, you got to hit the free throws. And if you don't hit the free throws, it doesn't matter about you getting to the lines. It doesn't matter. You're not converting them, and they converted them, man. And that's how they were able to maintain their lead, even though Dayton was still trying to chip away and find a way to get over the hump and get the lead, so they can, get out of there with a win. But it wasn't to be, man. Also thought Ronald III hit some big shots. He had a big 3, hit a couple of runners late. He had 13 points, so 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Look, man, he was huge, and also an underrated aspect, the guard play, the main primary ball handlers for them. Ronald III, Baraka Okojie, 3 turnovers between both of them, and those are your 2 main point guards, your 2 main ball handlers. 3 turnovers between both of them. It's just one in the basketball, man. It's no other way to put it, man. You know what I mean? So they shine when they needed to. I also thought, everybody pitched in when they got in the game. The Woody Newtons, the Malik Henrys. It won't show up in the box score, but Ball, he had a hustle play when they were scrambling for offensive rebound, and he damn near ran over the scores table to get the loose ball, saved the ball, and George Mason was able to save the possession, and it resulted in points for them. And when in a game this close, those are the little plays, the 50-50 balls. Those are the little plays where coaches, when they go back over there and look at the film, it shows the hustle and the heart of the team and how much they wanted to win that game, speaking on the Patriots' behalf. But it also shows that how timely those plays are for that specific team and why they won the game. Because that ball could have easily been a Dayton player getting that, going the other way, scoring easily. And in a game that close, that could have been one of the possessions that tilted the win in Dayton's favor, but it didn't. And you just saw George Mason players making hustle play after hustle play, getting the 50-50 balls, tipping away, going down there, helping out, swarming DaRon Holmes, trying to keep him off the boards, man. DaRon Holmes averages 8 rebounds a game. He got 7, but he had to work hard for those 7. That just tells you the effort and the energy that George Mason had, man, all throughout the night. And look, man, it was great to see, man. They really came to play. On Dayton side, man, what can I say, man? Look, DaRon Holmes, he's a monster. He's a monster, and there's no getting around it, man. Uh, to me, he's the clearly, A10 player of the year. And, that's to me, that's just easy. Um, Obviously, he's looked at it to be a high potential draft pick, maybe sneak into the late first round, early second round pick with the way he's playing. But he was dominant, 26 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep. And he shot those 3-pointers with confidence. He didn't have that last year. He didn't have that at all last year. His game was inside, take you out to 10 feet. Now he's out there hitting threes confidently. He put in work, man. 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals in 36 minutes. He was flat out dominant. And you just tilt your look. You got to tip your head to somebody like that, man. He's he lived up to the billing. Thing is, the guard play, he didn't have much help from the guards, and you got to credit the Patriots for their suffocating defense. Clearly, their plan was, DaRon Holmes, do what you do. We're gonna try to make it as tough as possible on you, but we feel we can lock up everybody else, and that's what they did, man. You know what I mean? Look, even with DaRon Holmes shooting 8 of 15, over 50% from the field, as a team, Dayton was held to 41% from the field. That shows you how tough George Mason defense was, and how much they were swarming, man. Just it's no other way of putting it. Think about it. Nate Santos, who's a Pitt transfer, known as a sniper, he was 3 for 9. Kobe Elvis, 5 points, 2 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from deep. He was off. Cheeks had 8 points. He was 3 of 7 from the field, hit 2 of 3 from deep. Isaac Jack, backup center, 6 points, 2 of 3. Brea, another one. You know what I'm saying? Hit a big 3. He had a big steal and a big 3 late to tie the game. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. 3 of 6 from the field. Another that Javon Bennett, he fouled out late, and that really hurt him because he's a smaller guard, but he's super quick and shifty with the ball and can shoot and can make shots, man. And it's a great decision maker, man. He definitely would have helped down the stretch had he not fouled out. He's very tough to guard because of his speed and quickness and his ball handling, man. Let him know. And he's great at finding ways, again, DaRon Holmes, at the ball, or finding open shooters, or creating for himself, man. So once he fouled out, he only played 26 minutes because he was in foul trouble. That's huge. And that's what I was saying about the play of Okojie and Ronald. They put the pressure on them, and they picked up no fouls, and no fouls added up. Then late, you foul them out. That was a big blow. That was a big blow for Dayton, man, because they didn't really have anybody to kind of fill that void, man. Once he went out, you could just see that their offense wasn't the same, and then that was huge, man. And that's what I mean by George Mason's guards. They came to play and they outplayed, Dayton's. Without them doing what they did as far as keeping the pressure on them, which is saying something, man, because people got to understand, man, with that horse down, with that big boy down there, man, it could be a little intimidating to go in and, you know what I mean, and try to attack the basket. Look, man, George Mason wasn't having none of it. They attacked and they were fearless, and you know what I mean. It paid off on them, and you just gotta, you tip your hat to them. One positive for Dayton, they shot the hell out of the ball from deep. they did shoot well from the field, but they shot the hell out of the ball from deep, and that's what kept them in the game, man. They had 4 players that shot 50% or better from deep. They were 11 of 26. They shot 42% from deep overall. That's really how they stayed in the game. Because with the way George Mason was attacking the basket and get to the free throw line, as a team, they shot 24 29. I'm talking about George Mason, which was 82%. And they only shot 29% from deep, but they made up for it at the free throw line, like I said, and from shooting efficiently from the field, getting in the paint, scoring. Mari Kelly had some good turnarounds late as well, 21 to 44, 47% from the field. It put the pressure on Dayton to have to score, and they weren't hitting from the field, so they had to rely on that 3-point shooting, man, and they didn't hit enough threes. It's just as simple as that. So, look, man, it was fun to see. It was good to see the kids from George Mason be rewarded with a big win. Dayton's not going anywhere. They're obviously going to be there, during the 8th. Obviously, as the season closes out, they still have a chance to close out as regular season champs, and they obviously will be a handful come tournament time. But so will a list of teams from the A10 as well, including George Mason. One thing about George Mason, they have the talent and they have the depth. It's just about them just staying together, and you saw that tonight. They stayed together, whereas in some other games, certain guys will be together and other guys when they head down the game, and that will cost them. When these guys all collectively, 1 through 12, how many players they have active, when they're together, they're tough to beat. They're tough, they're athletic, they're long, they're versatile. They can kill you in various ways. You got multiple scorers. They can rebound. They can push the ball. They can play different styles. They can slow it down, get the ball on Amari, throw lob plays to Henry and Newton, kill you that way. They can kill you in the mid-range with Keyshawn Hall breaking you down or whatnot, Ronald Light with his runners or Darius Maddox and stuff. And they can kill you from 3. Then they have defenders, Jared Billups and those guys, man. They got a little bit of something for it. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you throw them, they got a little bit of something. For them, it's just staying connected, staying together. And you got to tip your hat off to George Mason coaching staff, Tony Scan, all those guys over there, man. They had them boys ready to play. They executed well for the most part. Obviously, they had some lapses here and there. That's why they were down at the half. That's why they started the game off. And Dayton had a couple buckets, and Tony Scan called that quick timeout to force them to regroup. Regardless, for the most part, the boys was locked in. They executed well, and they pulled off the big upset, man. You know what I mean? So, congrats to George Mason. We're going to see if they ride this momentum and keep piling up wins, man. Talent's there. Like I said, it's just a matter of them just staying focused, staying connected, and we'll see what they do as the season comes to a close. They prepare for, the A10 championship, the A10 tournament, up in Brooklyn, man. But I want to appreciate you guys for joining me once again on another episode of All Around. It was Cardell Dudley. We'll be back soon with another episode. Congrats to George Mason, man. First win over a ranked opponent in school history at home. Don't need to say much else about that, man. That's just a humongous victory. So touch base with you guys later. Take care.